Hello, guys, and welcome to the morning howdy. And like every morning, howdy. Piping, steaming hot. Perfecto. So today's topic is gonna be drugs. And with most of my topics, there's gonna be bads and goods to everything that I try to discuss because there's gonna be benefits for both. There's always goods with the bads and bads with the goods. So the reason I brought up this topic is because drugs have impacted my life with the people that are surrounded by me. Um, and I'm gonna tell you how it has impacted me, and maybe how it's impacted others as well. And maybe you could relate and tell me some feedback on your stories. So let's get started. So drugs have impacted me in pretty much every type of way it can. Emotionally, physically, mentally, all those other type of ways. I've seen the good turn bad and the wise turn lost. But with drugs, I've seen the weak turn strong, and I've seen the sick turn healthy. Um, Drugs have impacted my life in a certain way where I could see I could see all the mistakes, so I would never take them. I'd always see. It would always be like I'm seeing into the future, and it would be like if I do this, I know what's gonna happen. And we have Google too, so I could always search up all these questions. But in my experience, I got to witness the effects of drugs. And let's start with the bad. And so, my brother, rest in peace, OD'd on heroin. And it all started with weed. It all started with getting high and getting that taste of a different type of life. And it's like when you take that first step into anything, you don't have control. You're kind of like, oh, this is nice, I'm gonna keep doing this. And you're like, what can be better than this? Just like in most things in life, you're gonna say, how can I improve myself? How can this experience be better? Because if you do one thing so many times, the experience is not gonna be the same as that first time. And a lot of time when people do drugs, they always go back to that first time and they feed off that first feeling. Like people who are addicted to heroin, for example. And like, I'm gonna work up the ladder and to obviously the worst. So, and the reason why I'm saying it impacted me is not just because I lost a family member, but I've seen how other families have been affected, and I know how I've been affected. And I can only say, from what I've seen, it's made me stronger and wiser. I have done a couple of things. I've never done anything that is like no one should ever do. I've never done anything crazy. I've never done, like the meth, the heroin, like the crazy fucking opioids that people be doing, like acid. I've never done anything crazy like that. I've always just smoked weed. I've drank a little bit, and I tried a little party pill, right? When I was in high school, I never did anything where I felt like I'm gonna lose my life tonight if I do this, So, and I got to see for myself how drugs affect people, and it's the most scariest thing when it affects you mentally, because people who are constantly doing drugs, they don't really tend to see changes, but the people around them are the ones who will tell them, and they're the ones who are going to tell them first, especially family members. The minute you come in and your emotions are different, they're going to call you out and be like, what's wrong? And you say nothing, and then they're like, okay, if that's what you say, they're just going to let you go by. And then, and the one thing about drugs, is that no one can force you to do anything. No one's going to hold you down and say, smoke this pipe. No one's going to hold you down and say, you're going to have to put this needle in you, right? There's always a scenario where something like that is possible, but realistically, majority people do it with their own free will. Okay? And it's like some people are blind. They feel like they're the same. They feel like they have the same mentality. They don't know what they're doing differently. It's because they're always going back to the same state they were the last time they got high. They're always getting high. They're always going back to that same state. And it's not your normal state. It's not where your mind is supposed to be. Your normal mindset. You're on a hole where your endorphins are kicking in. You got chemicals reacting in a certain way where they shouldn't be reacting. You know, it's an off. You're putting yourself in an off balance state of mind when you get high. And my opinion is your frequency changes. Your frequency can increase. Your frequency can lower. You do like some people who smoke weed, their frequency lowers and they're chill, they're sleepy, they're a potato. And people who can get drunk or like do, for an example, like speed. Speed is like, I'm just bringing that up because it higher frequency. People get angry, people get hyper, people are off the walls crazy. And they don't realize that we all kind of have a certain frequency that we all kind of like flow into. It's like the human frequency, right? And whenever you get to those changes and you start making the choices where you say, this is okay, this is my thing now, it becomes a norm. It doesn't see no. So you start off some way, and then once you start an addiction, you make that addiction your norm. And you forget who you used to be. You forget the frequency you used to flow in. You forget. Because you kind of make it into like, this is the new me. And you don't even realize it. You don't even think about it this way. You just think it's the same one, the same you from before. But it's not. Your mind is altered. Your mind is being shifted around in a lot of different ways. And so I've seen, a lot of things. And I'm going to get into a couple stories from what I've seen. And I'm just going to go from there. So I did say my brother passed away. This was about like 5 years ago. And, he started with weed. And then as he grew up, going through high school. And we live in Houston, so there's a lot of people, a lot of kids, a lot of different races and cultures and mindsets out there, and it kind of all got shifted around. And it started from the weed, the drinking, the pills. Next thing you know, we're going something more intense than pills, and then it gets down to the needle, man, and you lose yourself, you lose your happiness, because you feel like that's the only way you can be happy. You lose your sense of real enjoyment. The feeling you get when you accomplish something is like the same type of feeling when you get high. You can feel happy, you can feel relieved and not stressed. And people do these things because they're depressed. People do it because they're stressed out. People feel like there's no other answer, or they feel like there's nothing else to do. I'm bored, so I'm gonna do it. There's a lot of reasons why people do these things. And there can be good reasons why people do these things. And I'm not talking about putting a needle in you. I'm talking about, weed or some type of pills, like drugs, like an example, Advil. Advil is a drug, okay? It is a pharmaceutical drug that people can use, and it's not bad, but it is a drug, okay? It is made. They make it. They're made from real stuff that come from the earth, but it's not like you pick up a herb, you mash the herb, and you put it on your skin. It's not like aloe vera. So it's not. It's definitely a drug, and I got to experience a lot of things. I got to see how the mind was altered. I got to see how people were affected, and families. So I can also go along and say some stories about my friends. So I've seen some of my friends do acid, and they lose their minds. They're not the same person. It's not because they're seeing different things. Literally, their consciousness is like, it's like something inside them is getting released that it's like the mind keeps dormant. It's like the crazy, insane side of someone. It's like a baby. You know how a kid, they have some sugar and they run around and they go crazy. They go crazy, but they're sane. They like some people lose their sanity. They forget who they are. And I've had a couple stories. So there was this dude, and I'm not gonna put any names out there. I'm not like that. There was a dude in high school. I think he was like doing some type of pro hormones or steroids. And one day he did acid. And he lost his shit. I'm pretty sure he was drinking too, but he lost his mind. And he was going around busting things up, breaking things, starting conflicts. It's like, has anyone ever heard of the bath salt guy who ate someone's face? He wasn't on the level of eating someone's face, but he was on the level of someone who lost their mind, right? He wasn't making logical choices. And eventually, like, the people had to call the cops. Everyone's worried for this man who lost his mind. They're worried for their own safety, for what this man's about to do, right? This guy's big. This is like high school time, and you just imagine you're in high school, and then there's that one jock who's just like, no one's gonna mess with this dude, right? And then it's that dude who's the one who's getting fucked up, right? Who's the one doing all these bad things, and the cops get called on him, right? And when the cops get there, his mind can't even comprehend that there's cops. He can't comprehend that his life is in danger because he's putting another individual in danger, right? And he ends up fighting the cops. He ends up brawling with the cops. Straight up brawl. And there's more than one cop. He's brawling, having an extreme fight with them, okay? And eventually they take him down. That give it up for the cops for that, right? And for his safety. Sometimes cops aren't bad. Cops in those situations, they do help people by stopping them from doing anything that's gonna ruin their lives per se. And after they beat the shit out of him and handcuffed him, he goes to jail. He finally regains his consciousness, right? And then whenever you fucking finally get sane, you might not even get sane while you're in jail. It depends how long you're in there. You're in there for a night and you leave. You're probably still not gonna have your sanity if you lost it, alright? You're not gonna be the same individual. It's gonna take time to recollect yourself. Because I've had another individual, and I've actually had 2 people I've known personally, not just the guy I just talked about. So all in total, I have 3 stories for you, and it all includes acid. This is just one of the things. And acid is like, I had another individual who did acid. He was at my friend's house. And he decided to do acid, and he loses his shit. He's breaking stuff inside the house. He can't control himself. He's crying. He's losing his mind. He's tearing up. He's raging, having all these split emotions, and he can't control himself. And they gotta call the cops. They got to call the cops. They can't have this man going crazy, running around the streets or inside the house that he was in. They call the cops. He's trying to get away from the cops. Obviously, he's delusional. He doesn't know what's going on. And they cuff him. They get a cuff. And he breaks the cuffs. Real life. And this guy is skinny. This guy was one of those skinny kids, right? Skinny, druggy kids that you would look at with long hair. Not skinny like me. But, he's a skinny guy. And he breaks through the cuffs. Imagine how your mind is lost to find yourself in another state of mind where you don't even know you have the possible strength to break through cuffs. And there's some cuffs you can't break through, but cops usually have there's cuffs where you can't even move them. It's like you're stuck, and there's cuffs that are more lenient. Those cuffs can break. Some cuffs are breakable. Some cuffs aren't. Some cuffs are old. I had never done this study on cuffs, but man, this is real life. This little kid broke through cuffs on acid and freaking out. You imagine a cop seeing a little kid. You know, you're seeing one drunk guy who's like on PCP and he's pretty big, right? It's a little guy, man, and he's breaking through cuffs. He's going psycho. He's going crazy. He's kicking. He's screaming, yelling at the top of his lungs. You know, and like this guy, both those. Okay, so I'm talking about two guys, but my vision on them, my perspective on them, they weren't the same. They weren't the same. They became quiet individuals. They became, in my opinion, they're more paranoid. They became paranoid. They became very spooky people. Kind of like who always kind of like look down and kind of like always kind of look around and kind of look back down again. Just kind of keep quiet. They don't have that same frequency anymore. They lost it. They lost themselves. They lost a little bit of themselves doing it. And you could tell. I could tell. I feel sometimes that I can read people in a way where their like energy kind of vibes off a different way. And you can tell it's like you can tell when someone has a bad day, not just by their facial expressions, but their whole body structure in a whole. And one of these guys was my friend. And he wasn't my friend after that day. It could never be a friendship again. He had lost himself. He probably had lost even a connection with his family in a sense. He probably lost a little bit of that. Doing these drugs, you lose a little bit of yourself every time you do something. I'm gonna tell you one more story. I had another friend, right? Lost his mind at a friend's house, going crazy. He didn't break any cups, but he's going off the walls. It's the same story, a different day. And it's because of the same drug. And like people, even though people hear about this stuff, people know what's going on. There's always that next guy that says, "Oh, it's so good. Oh, come on, man. It's not gonna kill you. Come on, man. Come on. Man, suck that dude, bro. Teach him, show him the meaning of the answer no. And not just the answer no. I'm not saying hit people, but do what you can to stop someone from being a bad influencer, not just to you, to others. Because if you say no and you just let him walk away, guys, he's going to do it to the next person. You got to change that man's mind. Don't let him hurt Sarah Lou or Jerry Crew or, all these people, man. Because people talk to other people, and people are friends with other people. People have family members. People have little brothers, little siblings. So imagine if that dude came up to you and said nah, and then later down the road, you somehow find out he's a little sister, right? And then down the road, you find out that little sister lost her life. I personally would feel like that was my fault, that I didn't stop that man when he tried asking me. I would feel like that was my fault because I didn't try to change that man in front of me. I'm not saying everyone needs to change people. Not everyone can change another person. Everyone's their own individual. Everyone makes their own choices. And when it comes to drugs, that is someone's own personal choice. And when they get addictions, it feels like that's the only choice. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about addiction. Addiction is one of those things that is sometimes not even realized. Sometimes you don't think you have an addiction. But some people there's people who can't fight addiction. So there's people who play video games all day. They don't think it's an addiction. But it is. They wake up, they play video games, they don't think about anything else. Like people who do drugs. They go to the drugs and they don't think of anything. They don't think about how they're going to better themselves. They don't think about anything new. And when people do drugs, they get addicted. Right? And when they get addicted, it depends what they're doing. It's going to hurt them. First, you're hurting yourself putting it in. And once you're trying to take it away, it's going to hurt you even more. I wouldn't say more, but it's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt you to quit. I personally felt like I had a weed addiction at one point. But I proved to myself I could quit. And I did. And I'm not saying I should glorify myself because it's not anything extreme. I've never done anything to put myself where I felt like there was going to be a problem, right? I never put myself where like, dang, I'm putting myself at risk because what if I do this and I get hooked, you know? I already knew that was a possibility. I don't want to do these things whereas I know it's going to hurt me. It's like I read a warning sign. I know the warning sign's there and it's there for a reason. It's because someone was affected by it. When we know something is affected by it, why do we do these things? Why do we do the drugs? People know it helps people. I know it helps people. It does. It can. But you can misuse it and it can hurt you. I used to do it where it was actually hurting me. I wasn't doing it. I didn't have any diseases or anything. Right? I'm just a little high school kid smoking weed, relaxing after a hard day of sports, you know, chilling. It's just so because I know I have to go back to school, and I don't want to go to school because I'm not learning anything I want to learn, you know. So I smoke some weed just to clear my mind so I can get through the day. That's what I used to do. I used to say, I'm going to get through the day, I'm going to smoke the weed, I'm going to get through the day, and it's going to help, and it's going to relieve the stress that's going to put on me, right? People do the same thing, but they use other drugs. And that's when it gets serious. I'm not saying weed is not a serious thing. You know, it is legalized. People smoke it all the time. But, you know, people who smoke it every single day, it can cause a problem. It can cause an addiction. And, the way I've seen it affect family, and it can ruin relationships with the family, because the first thing you're doing is you're lying about it and you're hiding it. Why would you hide anything from your family members, man? They're the ones who are supposed to be hiding things for you if you need to, in a sense, right? There should be the ones who, if you tell a lie to someone else, they're the ones who are supposed to keep your secret. Right? That's your family. And it all starts with family, the neglection from your family. And your family is one of the things that should keep you the most sane, the most strongest. And I know some people don't have the best families, or abusive family, or don't connect with their family in that type of way. I've had those times, okay? I've had those times. But you always look back down to where you are today and how you got there. And if you have just say you have one relative, right? Just a dad or just a mom. But I'm gonna say a normal age where people start experimenting, like 16, right? And your relationship's not going good anymore. You're always arguing. But you got to be 16. You got to be that age. You need to mature. You need to realize how you got there. That person that you think you hate now, you despise, you can't stand. Those are the people that used to change your diaper. Those are the people who used to feed you. There's no you always gotta forgive. You can't hate them forever. There's no way you can. You can't let that happen. You can't let that hate ride over the people who love you to death. Because even though it might seem like they don't love you now, just imagine if you OD'd and you're gone. Imagine how they would feel then. Imagine how all the work they put into you to make you grow. Yeah, you have problems. Because not everyone's gonna be the same. You don't grow up to be the exact person your father or mother is, or you could be a daughter to your dad or a son to your mom. So you don't have that man-to-man connection or girl-to-girl connection. These are the things that get people to do these type of drugs, because they don't feel like they have that kind of connection at home. But they lose the connection even more whenever they put the drugs, because they feel like that's the problem. That it's never been that problem if they've been there. If you're living in the house with your parents, it can never be that type of problem, because you're living with them. They're letting you live there, right? Because they can let you go. They can let you go if they want to. Okay, there are kids out there that want family and would do anything for a family. And sometimes we lose that connection. It's because of the drugs. The drugs discombobulates our brain, man, and we lose that 3 bars, 4 bars, 5 bars of connection that we're supposed to be having with our family. And I had another friend. It was all good, right? Good kid, great kid. I always thought of him as, he was younger than me though. I always thought of him as my equal. because I didn't want to think of him as being better than me. I didn't want to think of myself being me better than him. I saw him as him going down a path that I want to go to, dressing nice, going to school, being in sports, being intelligent, being quick-witted, and it started with the weed, and then the alcohol, and then it got to the point where he was doing more than those things. And this is even a closer friend of mine. We're not really friends anymore like that. And I saw how it affected his family. And unfortunately, he has a son. And I can't tell you how it affects him. I don't even want to speak about it. But I know how it affects his family. And it makes him sad. It makes him depressed. It makes him worried. It makes him feel like, what did we do wrong? Right? And you affect more than just yourself when you do things like this. And if you have siblings, it's going to affect your siblings. Just like how my brother affected me. It made me stronger. My brother, in the end of the day, led the way for me and made me strong and made me who I am today. And I can't disrespect him at all because he's done the good things. Right? I know he's done the bad, but there's always good with the bad and bad with the good. And I tried to help my friend. And it started with the friend making new friends, bad influences, people who would accept him, right? It's not I would always accept him as my brother, right? But I don't know if he felt like he needed new friends or he felt like something was missing, but he made wrong friends. He felt like he needed to sell drugs and make money that way, the quick way, right? And if you think about the quick way, you're making 1,000 a day. Just say you're making 1,000 a day. Think about if you do it the right way and you make $1 million a year. Think about to that level you can get to. Think about all the rich people out there and the high level you can never get to that level selling drugs. And if you do get to that level selling drugs, you're gonna get caught. There's the slimmest of slimmest chance that you're gonna get that money and you're gonna keep it, no questions asked. That's the slimmest of slimmest chances. And to all those people who did make it doing those things, you must have prayed to your God every single day, and you must have had the most 4-leaf clovers in your socks that you had a sock full of clovers. You had a clover sock, okay? Because from what I've seen, everyone gets caught with something. Everyone gets caught with something if they do something. If they drink, they're going to get caught with liquor one day. If they smoke, they're going to get caught with weed. And guess what? And when you do these drugs that are even worse, when I just said, you're going to get stupid. And you're going to make these mistakes. You're going to literally get stupid. You're going to go potato head, okay? And the people who do these bars and take the pills that make them sleepy, look, bro, I also had another friend who did bars. He fell asleep at McDonald's, right? I'm not going to say any names. But it wasn't his fault. He would never do that. He's a smart, intellectual guy. He's a businessman. But he did something he shouldn't have done. And he learned from his mistakes. A lot of people learn from their mistakes. This was the day he learned. And he won't make that mistake again. He fell asleep at McDonald's in the drive-thru. And they called the cops. He was asleep. And he wasn't waking up. And as the cop came, he woke him up, blah, blah, blah. Everything was fine. And he got a friend to pick him up. Or his sibling. Because they didn't want him to drive. And as he was walking to the sibling or friend's car, it fell out of his pocket. He did something stupid. Simply went in his pockets, casually. His mind. He didn't think. He wasn't thinking. He went potato head. It's not because he's a retard, a potato head, or stupid. It's because he was doing the things that make you that way. And we all have a choice to do something that's going to make us some way. We can read a book and we're going to be at a more higher reading level, right? We learn facts. We're going to be a more factual person. We learn science. We're going to learn the secrets of science. And these are beneficial things because there's a lot of things in life we can apply to every day. When you do drugs, you can't apply your potato head to daily life. You can do it one time, right? You can do it one time in a safe environment, right? In a safe place, not go anywhere, supervised. So you can experience for yourself, right? You can know, so you can tell others, so you can know for yourself. I'm not saying anyone should ever do this, but there's a way. If you do it, there's a way to do it. Okay, and just like how if you're underage and you drink at home. Okay, if you smoke at home, man. Smoke in your backyard, right? And if you're gonna be doing a sleeping pill, don't be driving. Don't be, because these things affect your mind and they kill us in the inside. And drugs are, like they say, drugs are a hell of a drug, right? And it's crazy that I've seen so much drugs and it's like it almost can't be stopped. It's almost like there has to be the bad coming in. There has to be that bad influence, right? You can't just stop the bad influence. Because there's always gonna be bad people, right? Because not everyone's good, or everyone. Some people are confused, or some people are under the pill or under the drugs, man, and then they lose their mind. And maybe it all starts with drugs. Maybe it all started with the first drug that people started doing. I don't know what it could have been. Maybe that's the first thing that altered the mind and started the bad and with the good. It seems to me we can't stop it, because somewhere out there someone's doing it for the money. Someone sees it. There's no other way. I don't want to do this day-to-day job cleaning dishes. This is the only way for me. And some people are like, if I die doing this, fuck it. This is what works for me. This is what I'm gonna do. And they say fuck it. But you don't have to say fuck it. There's always another way. There's so many different possibilities. You just have to take your time and think. And sometimes you can't think in your head. What do you do? What do you do when you just can't think of anything? I've had these scenarios. What do you do? You know, you can always just ask for help. And say, if you don't know what to do, ask someone what are you up to? Do you need help with anything? And you can do something that someone else is doing, and maybe you'll like it. You go in a park, you see someone kicking a ball. Hey, can I kick the ball with you? I don't know what to do. Just talk. You can talk to people. If you can sell weed to people, you can talk to people in another way. You don't have to sell anything to them, man. You can be their friend. You can find out things that they enjoy. And if there's something you've never even attempted, try it. Attempt it. Don't just go to the next drug or the next pack that you buy. Don't spend all your money on it. There's people who instead of buying food, they buy the drugs. There's people who drain their resources for the drugs, because to them it's only food and drugs. That's it. And if there's no food, then it's only drugs, and then they die. Some people die like that, man. And it's almost like there's no stopping it. I always see in the news these submarines are catching in the coast filled with coke, the heroin in New Mexico, all the things coming in from all over the world, all the drug-related incidences, the ones I've seen, the way it affects people, I've seen it. And this is why I wanted to talk about it a little bit, because it's crazy that even though we're smarter, it seems like more of us are still getting dumber. Or maybe it's always that constant level. Since there's more people, there's always going to be that same percentage of the people who do stupid things and the people who are doing the right thing. I mean, we can talk a little bit about the good, about drugs. You know, the medically, it can cure a lot of diseases. They find it through plants. They find it through mainly plants. It all started from the plants. kind of had my coffee. And you know, even with weed, even say people who have major surgery, they have to put the there's some chemicals, right? Morphine. Morphine it's not necessarily the best freaking drug to put in your body, but it's needed for people who have extreme pain. People, like my grandpa, he got in a motorcycle accident, and his calf muscle was hanging off. You could see the bone. He almost lost his leg. And just think about it. I said my grandpa, and he's like my age. He was around my age, and he's like 80 something now. They didn't have the same type of medical stuff. So just think about how much more pain he would have been in than if I was today, right? And your calf is hanging off you. You're gonna need the morphine. They're gonna need you to stop screaming in the hospital, man. It's a serious thing. They need these certain type of drugs to help a person, and that's when it's okay. There's a reason behind it. And people who do these things, they do it for no reason. They just do it for pleasure. And life isn't just about pleasure, okay? There's a lot other purposes in life than pleasure. And people lose their they lose their way when they do drugs. Say, because one of my friends who I said was my boy, right, my brother, and I've seen him, you know, do drugs and hang out with the wrong people. For some reason I lost my train of thought. It's just like he was on a path and he lost it. He lost his path. And I try to put him on that right path. But sometimes you just take too many wrong turns in the maze and you get lost in it. You dig a hole too deep. Words from my dad, you dig a hole too deep, you won't be able to climb out of. But me, I still think there's always a way. There's always a way. I tried, man. I tried. But look, now he's doing court stuff. Now he already got caught up. And now, hopefully, from the last time I talked to him, he was saying stuff like, oh, whenever I get off probation. Like, he still wants to do the stuff that got him there to the point where it's affected him in such a dramatic way. He had to go to jail. When people go to jail, they don't always come back from jail, man. You go to jail, you could be there forever for the stupidest things, just for getting into a fight. That could lead to another fight. That could lead to a battle. That could lead to you having to kill someone, man. That could lead to so many things. And we know these things that happen. And all I really want in life, man, is peace. And sometimes the way to get rid of peace is to get rid of the things that gratify us. There's people that have the pleasure of power. And they have the power by the mistreatment of others. It's like a communist party, or not a communist, right? Like a dictatorship. Everything is their way. And if you don't do it our way, we're gonna it's for my pleasure, it's my way, my pleasure, right? They do it for themselves. And you know, you really lose your path, man. And it's not all about pleasure. It's about making sure everyone is happy. Right? If you can make yourself happy, you can make the next person happy, man. You can. And there's a way to do it. And I'm just going to give you an example. I used to talk to this one of my friends in my math class. And the teacher was like, I don't want him to talk in my class. I'm going to put him next to the nerd, right? The teacher doesn't know I'm a low-key nerd. The teacher doesn't know I was in chess club in 3rd grade, man. The teacher doesn't know I won the math bowl 3rd and 5th grade, man. The teacher didn't know. So I was chatting up, man. I was chatting up with this dude. We became friends. You can become friends with anyone. He told me the story, man. He told me his life, so almost pretty much his life story, man. I know I made a difference in his life because in high school, I was like the jock, the wild one, you know. People who knew me, they knew I would get in trouble here and there. People knew that I spoke up. People knew that I would talk back to a teacher, right? If they disrespected me in a certain way. I can take disrespect. I can't take it. But then, sometimes they cross the line and you can't live. It's like you're in jail, right? And if someone disrespects you, you got to fire them right off the bat. You got to fire on them. Life isn't like jail, though. So you can take a little disrespect. You can take a little bit. But it's still going to reach that line where you can't take anymore. You're going to have to say what you got to say, and that's going to be the end of it, right? And whatever happens from there happens. Some people say there's always a way to even get away from that. One of my good friends, I had a guest, he was speaking so much good wisdom, man. He's a man who knows violence. He did the sports, man. He knows how to use violence, but he still doesn't want to use it. Even though he has the capabilities of using violence, it's his last resort. And it can still be your last resort. When I say disrespect, and someone disrespects, that doesn't mean I have to use my violence. It's just I have to state it. I have to state what's going on. I have to speak up. We gotta speak up. And if we have a problem, we have to speak up. If we see someone who has a problem, we have to speak up. We can't let people fall when we're the ones who can pick them up while they're falling, like a trust fall. People are doing trust falls every day, and people are just letting them fall on their backs. People, even though they do the drugs, right? Even though people do the drugs, they still want to hang out with their friends. And think about the friend who just casually hangs out with them knowing they do the drugs. They don't say nothing. Are they really there? Are they really their friends? Are they really always there for them? Do they really have their backs? Because, in my opinion, it's one person doing a trust fall another day after another, and the person's letting him fall every day. Every day he's letting him fall on his back, and his back is breaking from the fall. There's no support on his back, right? And then there's this weird thing with friends and family. Even though if the family can tell you everything, it's like you've already heard it all from them. And there's always two sides to a story, right? You have your friends. Your family is a whole different life from the life you live. When you think of your family, that's like internal. When you think of friends and the life around it, you think of it as external. And you have this own perception where it would be different if the other side, not your family, but the other side was telling, if this side was always telling you the same thing your family did, you would understand your family 10 times more. But on this side, this is the side, man. This is the side that's going to manipulate you. This is the side that's going to tell you it's okay. This is the side. We need to grow on this side as a whole. It should be two families. You should have more than one family around, man. It should be one whole, but there's not. There's not one whole, man. Well, I used to look at this way. I've seen people look at this way. Your family will tell you over and over. You don't listen. But the minute I told someone something, I felt like they listened. Because why would I say anything to them? Why would I put myself in their shoes, man? Because I was sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of seeing the good in my friend that I used to know turn to the bad. Or I hate seeing him affect the family members, man. When I have a friend and I meet their family, I treat their family as if they're him, because they are him. The family is him. They're just older, they've gone through life in a different way, but they're still the same individual. And when I see one person hurting, I see their family hurting. I do. And it hurts me. It hurts me. It hurts seeing like such a good father, a great father, seeing their son. Just like how I used to see my father cry because of my brother. And my brother cried because my father wouldn't understand what he's going through. Because of the friends, man. The friends weren't the ones beating him up, telling him to stop. The friends were beating up his eardrums, man, to do it. And at the time, man, I'm like 4 years younger than my brother. And it wasn't until near the end where I was really becoming wise. I was really becoming to the point where I was choosing to make a difference around the people. And I was a little late. I was late to help. And it wasn't even when he passed away I realized, when I made this decision. It was when I became the realization that I could have helped, that I could have carried his back, I could have just swung on him. I could have just swung on him every single time I knew he was fucked up. I could have made that difference. But I didn't. I had things I had to wake up every morning, go to school. I had to deal with the people that I had to deal with, right? I had my own life. I wasn't mentally. When I look back at it. I feel when I look back. It's not like I wasn't capable. I was capable. You're always capable of doing anything. But at the time, when I look back, I think now that I was just so naive. I was more scared to make a change in others and to help people. Because I was so worried about helping myself. And that's where we make mistakes, man. It's just only worrying about ourselves and that our problems are only our problems and we try to have to fix it ourselves. No, we can ask for help. Other people can help us with their own problems, man. And if someone helps you, don't feel depressed. Just go out there and help someone else. Because I wish I could have helped. You know? I wish I could have done more in a lot of situations. There's been times where I've helped people who are getting bullied, man. Someone was beating up someone where no one else would see, and I walked up straight and I was like, "Hey man, you're gonna have to stop this." And guess what? He tried fighting me. But he doesn't know I know how to defend myself. I'm not saying I beat him up. I was a lot younger. And I'm not saying I'm glorifying that I fought because he wanted to fight me. I'm saying it's because I'm willing to take the pain for someone else to not feel the pain. And maybe in return, I'm not doing this for a return, but maybe in return, when I feel the pain, again, someone will be there to relieve that pain from me. Because we feel pain. We feel pain, and it's not just physically pain. It's mentally. It's like depression. Depression is its own pain. I had a serious thing where I felt like I lost the love of my life, and I never had felt my heart. I felt my heart for the first time, and it was so weird to me because it felt like it hurt. I felt like a certain part of me has never hurt before, and it made me buckle to my knees, and I asked myself, why? Why am I feeling this way? Why did I put so much? Why did I let myself be able to? Why did I put myself so close to the cliff where I'm gonna fall off the cliff, man? Why did I put myself in that predicament? And how can I relive this feeling? Well, for me, it took time. And to get rid of an addiction, it takes time. And I'm not gonna say for this issue, I did it myself. I asked questions here and there, but this was more of an internal issue. It wasn't my heartbrokenness wasn't affecting others like a drug problem would. And if you have a drug problem, man, your heart might not be hurting, man. But I swear the people who love you, man, their hearts are hurting, and that they don't know why it's hurting so bad. And it's because you the one who has the addiction. You're the one who's not living your best life. And it's because those people who see you want to see you live your best life. And it's the drugs are the ones causing these issues. Drugs are crazy. But drugs are there. And we misuse them like all good things. We misuse them in some way. We can indulge ourselves with food, right? What other good things can we indulge ourselves with? We can sexually. We can indulge ourselves with partners. We have that type of urge, like it's like something we need. We need that connection with another individual, right? So I don't know if some people don't feel that way, but when I was at even a young guy, I felt like I needed that type of connection with a significant other, whether it's another man if I'm gay or another woman if I'm straight. Well, I am straight, but I'm just saying. As you have too much of that, think about what happens when you have too much of something. It starts to spill, and then the spill turns into the waterfall, and it's a splatter. It turns into a splatter of some sort, because eventually it's going to get too heavy, man. Whatever you're indulging is going to if you eat too much, your stomach is going to explode. You're going to throw up. And you can put that expected of drugs. You do too much drugs, man, you're going to die. You're going to lose your sense of where you are in life. You're going to lose your mind. I kind of did want to talk more about drugs, but I am going to save that for another issue, because when I think about it, I can talk about a lot of good thing about drugs. But I want to continue about the bad, and I feel like I'm getting to the point where I can maybe help someone, okay? I'm going to pour me up a little coffee, guys. And, it's like, if you drink, people say a wine can be good for the heart. Maybe scientifically it's good. It's good. It may be good for the heart. Right. I personally have never done that type of science experiment. But I've drank a glass of wine, right? And I never felt like it held my heart, but I've listened. But people who have drinking problems, man, they think it helps them. They feel like it's okay to have a drink every now and then. You're saying it's okay to drink poison every now and then. That's what you're saying. You're saying it's okay to have a little bit of poison. My body, I won't die from a little bit of poison. How stupid does that sound? When you literally say it how it is, it's so stupid. You feel stupid. And the people who don't feel stupid, they're stupid for not feeling stupid. They're stupid squared. And they feel like it's okay. I lived through experience, man. And I've never had a drinking problem because I never liked alcohol, because I always threw up. It always made me weak. It always made me feel in control. I never was blacked out. I've never gotten blacked out drunk. I've never gone delusional. I've never done something stupid drinking, right? But it made me feel weak in the stomach. It made me feel like if someone was going to attack me, I would literally not be able to do a thing because I'm so weak. And that scares me. It scares me that if I drink this poison, I'm going to be a potato and someone's going to be able to cut me up into french fries. That scares me, man. That scares me. And I don't want to do something that scares me. Right? We can face our fears, right? But why am I going to face my fears by drinking poison? That doesn't make sense. I'm not scared of drinking the poison. I'm scared of hurting myself and making myself weak and keeping myself in my full potential. I want to level up in this world. I once said in one of my videos, life is like Pokemon. And I want to evolve. I want to level up so I can evolve to the next level up. You know what I'm saying? That's the goal, is to level up and evolve yourself and your mind and your capabilities. And don't listen to people, man. I also said in another one of my videos, someone's going to tell you something's good, but you can't take everyone what you say and believe it's real. You can't, even with science and things you see with Google, you can't always believe it's real. I understand flat earthers, they think the same thing. But have you noticed the flat earthers that do learn, they realize the real, because the smart ones do the experiments themselves, right? And that's when they know. They change their mind. I could see how flat Earth could be real. I can put that in my mind. But when I do the research myself, it's not just looking on Google. When I do the things to do the real test to figure out if it really is, that's when I know. When I see something is dangerous, I'll remember it's dangerous. But until I'm up to the plate and doing it, I won't know it's dangerous. I'm just perceiving it. And it's like saying something is saying this heroin is good. But you know it's not good, right? It's obvious it's not good. But say you don't know. And this is a mindset you should have with a lot of other things. Someone says it's good, you're gonna be like, oh, it's good, I'm gonna do it, right? I trust him, I believe it. But how can you believe something you've never done for yourself? It's like believing drama. You're believing the gossip. How can you believe what someone says? Someone could just hate the other person. Just like how someone could give you drugs just because they hate you. It's real life stuff. People are so messed up. They will pretend to be your friend. Just so they can get you addicted so they can make money off you. They don't give a fuck about you. They only care about themselves. And this is where drugs come from. Because drugs is an independent thing. It's not a group of people doing it. People group up and do it, but it all starts with the individual. And we can help individuals, man. We can help the other. And we can help ourselves. There's ways to help ourselves too. It's not just us, so you're hoping for someone will come help me. No, you can go look for help. You can think about it, man. You can search it up yourself. You can find these things out yourself. No one's helpless. There's always going to be someone there who's going to say, look, it's my turn to step up. This is my turn to step up now. I'm stepping up right now. I woke up this morning. I got 3 hours of sleep. I'm hungry right now, man. I'm hungry. But I'm more hungry to try to help someone, man. I'm more hungry to have someone try to listen to me and who can relate to me, man. I lost people, man. I've lost friendships. I've lost connections. But I still have my mind. I could have lost my mind, man. I could have really lost my way. And there's been times where I was almost stepping in that direction. But I felt like I was tripping in a way. I felt like I was getting pushed. Right? I felt like I was getting pushed in a way. I don't want to get pushed. I do the pushing. And I'm not pushing others. I'm pushing myself. I'm the one pushing the weight. I'm the one who sets up the weight for myself, man. I'm the one who puts the 45s on the bench press or on the squat rack. And then I test my limits, man. And then if that's not enough weight for me, man, I can do more weight. I'm pushing myself to the next step, the next level. I'm going to evolve. I'm going to increase my muscle size. I'm going to increase my health. I'm going to increase my intellectual level. I'm going to increase my way to help others. And the topic of today is drugs. And there's a lot of things that come with drugs. And you can get in trouble with drugs. You don't want to get in trouble with drugs. Drugs is frowned upon, especially if you're doing the bad shit. People are gonna, if someone knows you do the bad stuff, people can accept that you do weed. People can accept it. People can accept that you do liquor. Some people can even accept that you do some type of pills, right? 5-ants or something. No one's going to accept you if you do heroin. No one's going to accept you if you do meth. No one's going to accept you if you do PCP, all the things that is coke. No one's going to accept you if you're a cokehead, man. People are not going to accept you if you do coke. I promise you. Drinking and weed is like the only decriminalized things that people are going to accept. Because if someone told me they tried coke, right? It's okay. I feel like it's okay if you told me you only tried it once. And then you said, no, I'm never going to do it again. I just wanted to know for myself so I could tell others. I can respect that. Because that's someone has to try something first. There's always someone who's going to have to eat the poisonous mushroom. Or no one's going to know it's poisonous. There's always going to be someone. And if you're the strong one, I'm not saying to do it, but if you did it and you can reflect and tell people about you tried it once, but now I know. Now I know. So I can respect that. I can respect it. Because you never know until you do it. Just like I was a skateboarder when I was a kid. And I used to be so scared to go down the biggest ramp. So I went down the little ramp. And I went down the little bit bigger ramp. And I never knew I could do it until I did it. People say, yeah, you could do it. Nah, you're not ready yet. You're not ready to do it yet. But I never knew until I did. I went to a skate park, right? And it's a concrete one. It's one of the biggest in Houston. But I'm at another level now, right? But I said to myself, where's the biggest ramp? Where's the biggest drop in? Right? Where is it? I found it. It was more than 12 feet high. It was like 14. It's a big ass ramp, and it was concrete. So you're not just hitting anything. You're gonna be scraping shit. And I was using my old board. This is my brother's board, and it's really really old. And I was using it because that's the only board I had. I went down that ramp, man, and I went down that ramp and I freaking shot. But once I got to right when I got to that slope, I made the slope. But when you get to that slope, that's when the speed really kicks in. Because when you're going down, you're only accelerating. But when you hit the turn, it's like the weight and the acceleration. That's what really gives you the speed, is the bend of the knees, the shift, and the weight and the momentum of your balance. Just like in martial arts, you're going to have to put weight into your fist. You're going to have to put weight into your leg. And when you skateboard, you're going to have to put weight into the balance that you set on your board. But for my board was ordered. My wheels were all dusted, rusted. Like, if you were to look at my wheels and you're a skateboarder, you'd be like, nah, you should not be fucking going down a 14-foot ramp with this fucking board. Are you fucking insane? But I went down the ramp, and right when I hit that edge, I went like this. I wobbled a little bit, and the board flew, and I flew to the other side. I literally flew. Once I got out, I just kind of like bailed, and I just straight up hit the other side of where it was. The other side where I was going to go up on. I knew I could do it because I just did it. And when we take these things in life and we know we can do something, why do we stick to something little when first we know, if we know it's possible. We know we can quit drugs. We know it's possible. And we know there's better things in life than doing drugs. We just got to do it. We just gotta do it. You can't say, I'm never gonna be rich, so I'm gonna do drugs. This is my life. I can never do anything, man. You don't know that until you do it. You gotta do it. If someone puts that into your mind, man, fuck him. Fuck him, man. Or fuck her. Whoever the one's giving you that bad insight. Because I'm telling you now, you'll never know until you do it. You'll never know what the girl will think unless you go up to her. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Like, I didn't go back down that ramp again. That was a one time. I had to know I could do it. And if I had a better board and I had knee pads and shoulder pads, I would go down that thing all the time. I wouldn't be hesitant. But I knew when I went down it, I could do it. That was enough for me. I don't want to keep going down it with a board that wasn't functional and concrete that's just gonna scrape me up or I hit my head. I had a helmet because it was mandatory in a skate park like that. But I wasn't going to have fun just going down the ramp 100 times. I want to go where I can do tricks. I want to do where I can improve to the point where I can go onto that ramp and then do something crazy. But I had to know I could do it. I had to know. Because I want to improve myself. I want to know. If I was a skateboarder and I skated for years and I can't go down this ramp, I wasted my fucking time. Because what if I'm going down a hill in California for some reason because a fucking bear's chasing me and I have a board and a freaking grizzly bear's like, I'm getting on my board and I'm going down the hill. They say you need to go down a hill and the wobbly legs of the bear, they're going to tumble over, man. I need to learn how to go fast. And there's everything is knowledge, man. Everything is knowledge. You can use everything as knowledge. And you can use drugs as knowledge as a learning experience, or you can use drugs as a way to help others. And yeah, man, life is it should only be about helping others, for a better cause. Another thing about drugs. Nowadays, people want to gratify drugs. It's all in the songs, Percocets, lean. People are gratifying the drugs more than ever. You don't see it on TV as much as you probably will, like in music or like in a YouTube video, like straight up TV shows. But like they be talking about it. They be talking about selling it like it's okay, like that's the way, and it's because for some people they feel like it's the only way. And I'm not racist, but African Americans are put in this predicament more than others. And it does make me sad because they were brought up into neighborhoods that are poor. Not everyone, but the majority. I live in Houston. I know about the 3rd Ward, 5th Ward. I know about these places. I know about places that get flooded. They feel like they're stuck. They feel like because of my race, I won't be able to get a good job. right? They feel like, oh, because of my race, I won't be able to find a good girl. But there's always a way. We had a freaking black president, man. There's a way. There's a way to do everything. And if you're one of these people, man, and selling drugs, there's a way out of it. Don't get brainwashed by the music, because you won't. Oh, this ain't brainwash. It's not an addiction. But music is also an addiction. Listening to something over and over is an addiction. It's your favorite song that talks about fucking all the bitches, like Lil Wayne. It's like, I wanna fuck all the girls in the world. I used to literally put that in my brain, like, oh, I wanna fuck all the girls. I know from experience that music is a short thing for brainwash, because if you love a song so much, you're gonna listen to it over and over. And I promise you, man, it's just like the ABCs. You're gonna remember it, and it's gonna be stuck in your head, and it's not gonna be able to get out. It's like the Baby Shark song, man. I'm sorry now that I brought up the Baby Shark song to all you singing the Baby Shark now. It's just the same way, and it's TV, and it's like it's so more publicized. It's like more people are doing it, and it's like cool. It's cool to do it, and nothing's cool about it. There's nothing cool about it. It's cool when you have money, and it's cool when these study females think it's cool that you got money and you're doing like living the gangster life. Girls like a confident man. They like a dangerous man. I get that. But you can be that same type of guy living a good life. And I promise you, that same type of girl, if you're the same type of way but not doing the drugs, guess what? She's not going to leave you when you get caught up. She's going to leave you when you get caught up by the cops. She isn't going to leave you if you're still around. She's going to stay because you're still making the money and you're still around. And she's still going to get what she wants. But think about it. If you're locked up, you're doing drugs, you're being stupid, you're doing stupid things, and you get caught up, right? Or you get too fucked up and you fuck with someone else, you just lost something, man. You lost something good. You lost something for yourself. You're losing. You only lose from this. You're not gaining. If you're not losing, you're standing still. You're not going anywhere. Even if you get money, man. Even if you're getting money in, you're gonna lose that money, because the minute you get caught up, you're gonna spend all that money on the lawyers, man, on getting out of jail. Because once you're in jail, man, you don't want to be in jail. Trust me, it's a cold, hungry place. Everyone's hungry, man. Hungry to get out, hungry to eat, hungry to find sanity. People want sanity. People find sanity through drugs. That there's a better way. Find sanity through a passion. You don't have a passion, man. It's because you're not looking hard enough. I feel like I don't really have that distinctive passion, but guess what? I keep myself busy. I keep myself in the aspect where I still I'm finding my passion. I'm doing this. This is one of my stepping stones. I've been into the fitness. Fitness was my passion, right? Big picture. But now it's not as big picture. Now it's just maintenance. I've already reached that passion level, right? Now what's next? That's what I'm thinking now. What's next? I've already equipped it. I've already equipped what I learned, like Pokemon. You equipped a new move, right? Fitness was my new move, man. I equipped it. I've already learned it. I've already learned that stuff. Now I know it forever. I'll always know how to be healthy. I'll always know how to live long. I'll always know how to become stronger. How to break through barriers. Now I know. And it's sad, man. It's sad what drugs do to people in a community. It's sad that people resort to it, and it's sad when you lose people from it. And to all those who have ever lost anyone from drugs, man, I'm here with you, man. I'm there for you. If you want someone to talk to, I'm here. I've experienced it. I do want to talk more about the subject, but the video is kind of coming to an end. I'm trying to keep it at a certain pace for now and grow upon it as I go, but so I can always have good content. There's gonna be a part 2 to drugs eventually. I'm gonna have someone else here one day, and that's where I'm gonna talk more about it, so I can get someone else's feedback to open up my mind on things and get deeper into a subject. I hope with just a little bit of what I've said, I was able to help you or get a mindset on things in some type of way. I'm just going off the top. These videos are clean cut right off the top. I wake up in the morning, man. I come here, I drink my coffee in front of you. My first sip is in front of y'all, man. I don't even get to finish this coffee. It kind of gets cold while I'm trying to talk. But my first cup of coffee is with y'all. I hope whoever watches this video, my video kind of glitched up. I hope that doesn't cause any problems. Whoever watches this video, drinks the coffee with me, man. Like I'm sitting across the table. Like I don't like to eat alone, but I'm here for the people. I'm here to help people. Stay away from the drugs, man. Do the right thing. Help people who have a problem. And I guess that's just how I'm gonna sum it up today, guys. I'm gonna get a little fresh little piping for the outro. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. Rest in peace to all the people who lost their lives to it, man. It's an issue, and we can fix it. Straight face. Thank you guys so much for coming and watching my channel, guys. For real. Thank you if you got this far. I appreciate it. Like and subscribe. Thumbs down if you don't like it. You're not gonna hurt my feelings. Give me feedback. Tell me how I can improve. All those good stuff. I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna try to be here every day. I've thought about some things in the future. I'm probably not going to be able to do it every single day. I know y'all are going to understand. I have things planned in the future. But I'm going to come out with better content. I'm going to come out with things outside here. I'm going to go out into the world and talk to people. I'm going to have a mic. I'm going to try to do things. I'm going to try to get better content. I'm going to try to work on my craft. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. This is the Morning Howdy Show. My name is Tyler. Thank you all so much, guys. And like always, howdy. Howdy, howdy, howdy.